Persperity Podcast. In the shadows we find our light. Through the struggles we will take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Hallelujah. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Trauma whispers, but love will shout. In this space of trust, there's no doubt. We'll explore the depths of pain and grace, finding strength in every embrace. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Take a breath and join the ride. Together we'll walk side by side with open hearts and open minds. In this podcast space, true peace we'll find. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found. Voices rising up, breaking new ground. With every story shared, we grow and learn. In this journey of healing, it's our turn. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma. Persperity
Lord.
Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma.
No, Britt. Wait. What is wrong?
Persperity Podcast, a safe space for people healing from trauma.
Hello, everybody. Yes. This week we have a very special guest. I know for the longest time people have asked me, when are you going to have social workers and counselors and professionals on here? Brittany is the start to that, because I got her this week. She is a licensed social worker. What is all them alphabets behind your name? Can you please let the people know? LPN, MG, what is it?
I don't know about all them alphabets for starters. That's a lot of. I do got some credentials and a little bit more I'm working towards, but first one, simple. I am licensed in Kansas, not in Missouri. I don't know why. I just make it do what it do. But you got licensed master social worker. Basically, I have my master's in social work, graduated from Park University this past May. Then I also have my certification in EMDR therapy, which is basically like a psychotherapy technique which taps into a lot of people's critical trauma. A lot of people that deal with, I would say, the high intense trauma related stressors. So a lot of people that deal with a lot of PTSD, sexualized trauma, things such as that. And then I am currently working on my certification in play therapy as well, which I will have hopefully that certification in June 2026.
Okay. All right. She said, I'm trying to have the whole alphabet behind me. What you talking
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. The more certifications behind your name, the more that you can obviously do.
All right. Coming through with it, St. Joe. I'm just kidding.
Listen,
You got an accent.
stop hating on our little town around it. Well, it's not even that little. It's bigger than what people think. Okay, we do have the Chiefs training camp every year.
Yeah, because it's small. They ain't got to worry about nobody coming to roll up on you. What you talking about? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I've been to St. Joe. It's pretty nice though. The food is good. It is. You know, it's my like hot, ready. You don't have to worry about nobody trying to just like. It's real good. But y'all, I forgot to do my spew. So give me a moment, y'all. She already did her and the what's name. So I'm gonna say this. Welcome back to Persperity Podcast. Today we're stepping into a space of deep understanding and practical empathy with a crucial topic: healing conversations, a social worker's perspective. This is where we learn how to navigate the complex emotional currents of life, not just for ourselves, but for our communities. I am truly honored to introduce an expert who guides these conversations every day, the insightful Brittany Boggess. Get ready for a session packed with perspective and purpose. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this viable episode on YouTube. Brittany, welcome to Persperity Podcast. Yes. That's funny. Okay, so since we already did the introduction on that, we have to roll into these questions.
I'm a little
Before
scared.
we start, did you get a chance to send it out to your family so they could watch, your family and your friends?
Yes, I did.
All right, y'all. Feel free to get into this comment section because whenever you comment, it's going to show up on the side of the screen. Feel free to ask her some questions. Feel free, family, to pop in and share some embarrassing stories or something, you know. I'm kidding.
Please do not.
Whatever y'all like.
If anybody with the last name Boggess is
Bogus.
currently
My bad, not Bogus. Bogus. I'm sorry, y'all.
or any type of relation to me is on this podcast, spare me or we will have repercussions.
She says she gonna put you on a 96. Don't play with her.
Please do not try me.
She love them 96s. So for y'all that don't know what a 96 is, that's a sworn written affidavit that holds you in for not 72 hours, which is 3 days, but 4 days, right?
Correct.
Yeah. She likes she should be itching to write them things. That's gonna be my first question. Why do you like 96s?
I really don't. I promise you I don't, because it's way more than what you think it is.
Okay.
There's way more to it than just an affidavit. Yes, it's something that not on anybody can write an affidavit against you. It doesn't just have to be a licensed professional. A family member, anybody that witnesses you doing either harm to yourself or harm to others can write an affidavit against you. Ultimately, it is up to the physician to make the final judgment whether you can be deemed inpatient or outpatient.
Wow.
Like if they have sufficient enough ground to hold you. So you're basically taking that risk, saying, hey, I'm going to write this affidavit against you because I feel like you're a harm to yourself or others.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, no, I really don't like writing him, but I'm doing it because I feel like you are in serious danger to yourself or someone else.
I know somebody that they check into the mental institution to get a break from family and life. What do you think about those people? They said the food is good in the inside, so.
And it also depends on what type of facility you go to. Every mental health facility is different. We do have various mental health facilities between Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa. It's whoever has bed space available.
Mhm.
Honestly, you have two ways you can do it. Variety. Most of them you can walk in to, or you can go to your local emergency room and do it that way. But again, it all just depends on the facilities. Some facilities have good food, some don't. All in all, you're there to get the treatment and the help you need to focus on yourself and get yourself right.
Exactly. Exactly. Long as y'all know that.
Because obviously you're fighting something within yourself that is beyond your control.
True.
And so you need to seek help.
It's real good. It's good. So your episode is titled Healing Conversations social worker. How do you define a truly healing conversation, and what nonverbal cues signal that healing is taking place?
So every person is different
Yeah.
when it comes to healing conversations, because I've worked with kids and I work with adults.
Mm-hmm.
So they both listen different.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to healing conversations with a kid's body language is, you're healing that kid and getting through to that kid because it's more of a respect thing. They're focused, they're zoomed in, they're paying full attention to you. They're not texting, they're not fidgeting. It's none of that. Like, all eyes is focused on you and what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you know you're getting through to that kid.
That's good.
Now, I feel like when it comes to healing conversations with adults, adults seem to get more emotional
Hmm.
in some sense. You'll see adults become more fidgety, like they'll start moving hands or doing like bouncy things with their legs, or
Anxiety, like
yeah, like something like just doing something just because they can't stay still. And that's how you know you're starting to struck some type of nerve or getting to an adult compared to a kid.
okay. So, like, how do you know when they're doing that healing process? Like, how do you know, like, when healing is taking place?
So within a kid, um, their whole, it's like they would change
Mm.
very drastically. It's not a multi-layer process. It's either they gonna get it or they don't with the kid.
Mhm.
Um, and with an adult, I feel like it's going to take time, because you got to understand, adults have been doing and have been set in their ways for such a long time. It's going to take them multiple and multiple times to keep falling and falling and falling,
Mhm.
to eventually it's going to click. Or it's going to take something sometimes very detrimental, or that one close person to them, to be like, you know what, I'm done. Or they're going to lose that one close person to them and they be like, I'm done, to then get that big wake up call to eventually start that healing process.
It's really good. Okay. What is the single biggest misconception that the public has about the day to day realities of a social worker?
That we can solve everything.
Fair enough.
100%. I feel like they think that we just carry that S on our chest like Superman, and we just have the answers and to everything.
Mm.
Yes, I understand we are social workers. 100%. Yes, our jobs are very underrated. And yes, our jobs are becoming to be more pertinent in a lot of fields.
Mhm.
But what people also have to understand is we can't fix every person that walks inside these doors, wherever it's at. We can't fix every child. We can't fix every family. None of that. We can only do so much. We cannot spoon feed. We cannot coddle. We can only do so much, and the rest has to be on the other person or that family.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what people expect us as social workers to do, that we are expected to carry the weight all the way through. We do the front line.
Mhm.
We start it, but it's y'all's job to finish it.
Mhm.
So it's just like a relay race. we're we're the main, but it's everybody else's job to be the remainder.
That part. I always tell people like, because I'm a very big advocate for go to therapy. Therapy is amazing. I go to therapy. I love it. And it's a plus loving your therapist, like knowing the fact that they're helping you. But it's like therapy is not for someone just to dump all your stuff on and trauma dump or all that stuff. It's a place for it, but it's to hold you accountable for the goals that you want, and you're supposed to do the work. They're just supposed to help you understand and get the tools to learn, and then you apply them. You're supposed to have progress in therapy, not talk about the same thing over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't help you be better. And a lot of times people mistake, and there are therapists that are social workers that end up being licensed clinical therapists and stuff like that.
Hmm.
A lot of times they look at it from your point of view, like how often do you have people confuse you with a therapist?
I would say a lot, and that's because like I get all the time like people coming and asking me for advice on different things, and I mean I have no problem in regards to that. Um because in school, like everybody has to, like if you're a social worker, you always have to take human behavior, and you also have to take the DSM. So anybody that is in a master's class for DSM, like in social work, you better get to know the DSM like the back of your hand. Because let me tell you,
The DS, you talking about DSM-5? Do they teach y'all the
the D,
DSM-5, the Black DSM-5? Because when I went to Clark Atlanta University, they taught us the Black DSM-5.
no, I looked up the black DSM-5 on my own, but I have both versions. You got the black DSM-5, and then you got the black and then the regular DSM-5 TR,
Hmm.
which is text revision.
Hmm.
So we learned the text revision version, and your main basic diagnosis: your bipolar, your schizophrenia, uh,
Borderline. Yep.
your anxiety, depression, your main basis of disorders. And so when you get around a lot of people in different environments, like I have a really bad habit of being around people for various times and be like, that person got ADHD.
You probably done diagnosed me multiple times.
That person, that person, I feel like needs to be checked. Like you kind of on the autistic. Like I got it bad, like real bad. Like you got conduct. Like that kid needs to be checked because you got conduct disorder. Like I'm not even gonna fake. Like I got it bad, but it's what we do. Like when you've been to school, when you've done schooling this long, it comes natural.
Yeah.
Now, I will say off the rip before it comes flying out my mouth, I do not have the credentials to clinically diagnose, but I have theories, and my theory says you might want to get them checked for this.
Mhm. But you're working on your clinicals, right? Or do you want to be clinical?
Eventually, yes, but the way that the clinical hours is set up, that's 3,000. That's a lot of damn hours, and then we already got to do 350 for our registered behavior therapist. Okay, listen, them's a lot of hours, and I just got done doing one set of practicum hours. It's a lot right now.
Fair enough.
So it's one. That's a lot of hours too many right now that I need to be focused on.
That part. I get it. I get it. Because you said
That,
PRN
that
job,
come at a very
social.
pricey rate. Okay. But it is what it is, and I get asked questions all the time, and I can't help it. But yes, we as social, we do get questioned all the time, like, hey, are you therapist? No, I'm not a therapist. Not at all, and I don't classify myself as one.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad because a lot of people they don't know the difference because again, like people be like, again, social worker therapist, social what does a social worker do compared to a therapist or whatever, what those credentials? Because a lot of times when you see therapists, they say licensed social worker, clinical counselor, and then
Mm,
they have the LPN, MD, and all that other stuff behind it, and it's just like, okay, so they all of it at once. And it might confuse people. And then they
yeah,
start placing that identity on everybody.
because the difference is, as a therapist is going to tell you what you should hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear.
I know that's right.
There's a difference.
Oh, stop. Okay, rolling to another question. When you first sit down with a client, what is your primary goal? And how do you quickly build the necessary foundation of trust?
My primary goal with clients is it's always about building trust and rapport with each client. That's always firsthand. Any type of social worker, caseworker, clinician, anything. We are always built on foundation of you always want to build we're trying to build rapport with your clients. So
Mhm.
that's always going to be my main goal. Um with any person that I meet walking in is the rapport building. Um Sometimes I build good rapport, sometimes I build bad rapport. Um it depends on the day, it depends on the client. I'd have been called a bully. I'd have been called all kinds of stuff. But again, this too shall pass. It comes with the territory of being a social worker. But my main focus is always going to be trying to build rapport with the client. Um, and just getting to know them a little bit about them. Um, especially in my field, especially women's health. A lot of women come in scared and dealing with a lot, especially if it's their first child. However, some of them come in multiple children. They done this before. We got various scenarios. So you also have to basically fill the scene out too, um, of what you're gonna walk into.
Mhm.
Is it gonna be calm? Is it gonna be high need? And you got to go with the flow
Mhm.
and just take it from there because you're walking this journey with this client for 9 months.
Mhm.
When a client gets placed on my caseload. So you're dealing with them for that long, and sometimes you're going to build rapport with the client quick, and sometimes you're not.
So, do you work with adults and kids as well?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Because I have adult women and then I have teens.
So you work specifically with women only?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I didn't know that part. I mean, I'm sitting on the back end. I never asked though, but
Yeah.
wow. Thanks
A
for sharing.
women's health clinic.
Mosaic, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We ain't gonna say where. But yeah. Next question. Uh, in your experience, what are the most common mental health diagnoses you encounter, and what do you wish more people understood about the underlying human needs driving those diagnoses?
Bruh. I deal with a variety. I could probably say I didn't realize how bad the mental health was in my town until I started working in the clinic. I can't even honestly like pinpoint one diagnosis. That's how,
Wow. Do you have like the most common, like one that stands out?
no, that's how high need for like intense every single one of mine is. Like, I don't even, like, I can't even, like, I have so diverse between bipolar, schizophrenia, MDD, GAD, um, binge eating disorder, obsessive compulsion disorder. Yeah, just a wide variety.
Okay.
So like I can't even honestly pinpoint one when it comes to that. Because all in all, it is a major problem. Um, and I will have to say it is becoming to women don't realize how bad their mental health really does affect them in pregnancy.
Hmm.
And untreated mental health is a serious thing. And that is why me as a social worker, I fight so hard with making sure all of our women in the clinic are mental health compliant and overall doing well with their mental health um throughout their whole entire pregnancy and after, um because it's starting to become such a rise in a trend. And I think a lot of people, it's just not taken serious enough. And I will, one thing I have to commend my clinic um in doing, I've made some changes once I started noticing some things. What I will have to commend my clinic in pre and postnatal, especially for the prenatal. They have now started implementing a lot of our Inberg postnatal depression screening
Mm-hmm.
um with a lot of our women, and catching those early signs of depression, and they're starting to do those more frequent because it's becoming such a high need. And like I said, I cannot speak more high. I I couldn't be more proud and more thankful for the clinic that I work for and all the ladies, nurses, radiologists, access reps, my clinic supervisor. I mean, the whole clinic, doctors, all the way, like, I mean, across the board.
That's good.
We run like a well-oiled machine around there. And if something goes wrong or anything, any type of emergency, any type of crisis, they have no fear at all calling me, hey, Brittany, we got this. Hey, Brittany, we got this. I have a question about this. Sometimes they don't even call. They will just come to my office and get me. And I mean, more than thankful for my clinic. And you have some clinics and hospitals, like, they are so leery and intimidated, like, they don't use their social workers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just feel like, oh, social workers this, social workers that. That's one thing I can't say. Like, I don't have that issue, because my clinic, baby, they use me. Like, hey, they use me, and I'm very thankful, and I love each and every one of them. Like, I'm very thankful for the clinic that I work for and the hospital that I work for, because, like I said, we work as a team, like, from the top
Mm-hmm.
all the way to the bottom. I couldn't be more thankful for every single one of them.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Like, as a social worker, you know, social workers often deal with systems such as housing, legal, and healthcare as much as individuals. How do you maintain empathy and patience when navigating frustrating institutional barriers for your clients? I know we talked about one when I had asked you about that position. You was like, no, that's not the place. I don't like sending my clients there. So
So I would tell you, and anybody in my clinic that works with me, specifically one pod, if anybody in this pod is on this podcast, they can tell you exactly my famous phrase that I will say when I am frustrated and I need to get my head right. Because I'm getting ready to have a moment. I will say, give me a few minutes. I gotta go to my office and I gotta get right with Jesus real quick. And I'll be back. Cause I gotta I gotta think real quick. Mentally. Like, because I have my social worker brain, because I gotta go by NSAW standards,
yeah,
which is
national
yeah.
social work on. Yeah.
And then I have my Brittany brain. Everything's about ready to go out the window. And so I have to go back to my office and get my social worker brain in back intact, because there are things that get so frustrating, especially with everything going on in the economy in the world right now.
Yeah.
Um we got so much things going on with Medicaid specifically, and it's like pulling teeth trying to get stuff for patients, trying to get stuff changed, just trying to get basic essentials, um or just minute stuff. And so any given any given time, it's just like I have to just stop, like that back in elementary, stop, look, and listen. Stop, look, and listen. Like, remember where you're at, because I'm so passionate about my job. I'm so passionate about my patients, and I go hard and I fight every given day for change, whether it's something small to something big. I'm always fighting for something. Um and I'm always wanting to break barriers.
Okay.
And I would say ever since I was little, I've always been a limit pusher. Um and certain things I like to challenge, but I feel like, I guess now since I've gotten older, I feel like there's certain things that you can't challenge everything, and that's what I'm now starting to learn. And I think it's kind of hard for me.
And it's hard for me too. 'Cause I'm gonna be honest, how I was growing up was you can't tell me what to do. Like, they don't tell me what to do because I know what I'm about to do. Like, okay, I heard what you said, but it's always another way.
Yeah. I just feel like you can always get around something.
True, that's like that's the funny thing is that I did something like my undergrad is in criminal justice, my major, but my minor is in psychology. And it's like, yeah, I'm doing a little bit of technical psychology now. But you're right. A lot of people be like, oh, she's like a psychologist. No, I ain't licensed to hear people's problems. And I don't know if I want to necessarily do that. I know the podcast contradicts that, but that's totally different. I'm not bound by the ACA, the APA, the NSWA. I'm not none of that. You know what I mean? Like I'm flowing here, but I have my
Yeah.
disclaimer on here. But I always had that the lawyer. I'm still passionate about that. Like I'm thinking after I get done with my master's next year, like I want to go to law school. Like I had that was one of my things that I was passionate about when I was young. And that was kind of, I was crushed on the fact of not becoming it. It was like, nah, you're not gonna do that. And I was like, I'm gonna go to Harvard and I'm gonna do this and that. And I kind of aim low and stuff instead of high because I was discouraged. But now I'm like, life been good, like lately. God has been good and it's just been a blessing and I'm on fire for that again. So I'm just like, I'm on fire. Like you passionate about what you're doing, the social work field. Like I am on fire for the fact of getting back into that spirit of law and getting a Juris Doctorate, and pair that up
Have
with a master's
have
degree.
fun passing that LSAT.
And have fun. What you talking about? I got some of the best tutors. They know. But I've been this lawyer person. She been telling me for the long. She was like, "So you're not going to law school?" Okay, all right. Is that what you really want to do, cyber? Well, first off, I go to law school. They don't just teach you one area of law. You have to learn all the different areas of law. But my
Right.
emphasis will be wanting to be focused on cyber law. That's ching. Anything in cyber is going to get you money. But I
Yeah.
really like technology. I like people. I like mental health. But I love the law in the sense of let me tell you why you're violating my rights and why somebody's violating your rights. Let me educate you on that. So I don't mind reading and writing. So look out, world. Destiny might be a future attorney in the next 3.5 years.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
yeah. What they said, the destiny attorney at law.
I'm gonna say a prayer for everybody in that courtroom.
Right. Because hey, I'm about to tear that mug up. Dude, I when I interned for the city of Kansas City over the summer and we got to sit in at a court hearing, a couple of them, I was like, these lawyers are weak. Nothing of them. I was like, ain't no way. It's no way. I could be a court appointed lawyer and it be that small amount of I'm going hard for my client. I know what they said they did, but let me tell you why they did what they did and why you should see it from this perspective. Because it's gonna happen. Because I'm always finding an alternative. I've been doing better though, y'all. But pray for me. Pray, because I'm about to start. If I decide that's what I'm going to do in the next month, I am going to start studying for the LSAT and, start really getting started with that, because I need my acceptance by next fall so I can start getting in by spring 2026.
Okay.
No, wait, 27. So, yep. All right. I'm sorry I had to put that spiel in there, but let's roll back to these questions because it's about Brittany tonight. Given the emotional demands of your profession, can you share a bit about your own mental health journey? What motivated you to start prioritizing your well-being?
My own mental health journey.
Meaning as in like things that made you want to be a social worker, but also the things that you have witnessed as a social worker. How do you make sure you're okay? Your own mental health in that journey, because they got to be impactful.
It is. So I have MDD.
You do not have to disclose your mental health diagnosis if you don't want to.
Which is fine.
I would say, because that's not what I was asking per se, but I want you to feel comfortable. Are you comfortable sharing that?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
PTSD and anxiety. A lot of mine stems from father issues. And like I said, my dad was incarcerated the first 8 years of my life. My mom was a single parent. So my mom received a lot of support from her parents, my grandma and grandfather, who are now both deceased. And I do so I do a lot what I do as far as furthering my education. You would, when we was little, when me and my sister Jasmine was little, you would have thought that she would have been the one that would have all of the degrees, because my sister loves school. Brittany absolutely despised school. My mom used to stand on the bus corner with a stick. And if my mom is watching this, she can contest. She used to have to stand on the bus corner with a stick, make sure I get on the bus. She would then follow the bus all the way to every bus stop.
Oh man, you was playing hooky.
All the way. Oh, I was bad. Okay. Bad. She would follow the bus to every bus stop. The bus would pull up to my elementary school. My mom would park, go in to the secretary's office. Secretary's name is Miss Connie Shirey. Shout out to Miss Connie Shirey. Still love that woman to this day. Miss Shirey would let my mom go into the building. They make sure I was in class. My mom would threaten me, and you better not leave school. So I was in elementary. Then what made it worse, my grandma was a custodian for years.
In the school you were at?
Hold on. She first started out at Central, then ended up at Pershing. Then before she retired, she ended up at the elementary school I was at. It was game over. Okay. So then as school went on, I ended up, by the time I got to high school, my grandma was on all of my stuff. I told Grandma, I just don't feel like being in this class. Can you call me in a blue note saying, hey, you need me to come home and help you, blah, blah, blah. My grandma was my road dog. My grandma understood the assignment when I did not want to be in school. So I would be, I would come home, be at home eating. I would be at home taking naps. My mom would wake up, be like, Brittany, what the hell are you doing home? Ain't you supposed to be in school?
Jesus.
Grandma done called me in a blue slip. Like, I'm gone for the day. So my mom unfortunately had to put a stop to that and took my grandma off my emergency contact. Damn. So then I was stuck. Well, my senior year, unfortunately, my grandpa passed away. Um, so then grandma had to get put back on my call list. But I ended up graduating with I started out of Mo West, but then I ended up switching to Ottawa online, finishing out my degree in human and social services. Uh, and then I was like, well, I want to be a social worker. So then I was like, hey, I got to go for my master's. So I was going to go to KU. Then I was like, I don't like the Jayhawks. So then I ended up at Park because Park was the only one with the children and families emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up at Park. But ultimately, the goal really ended up starting off as I wanted to surpass my aunt, Angie, because she has her master's. And everybody has that one person that they look up to, or everybody got that bougie aunt. I got that one bougie aunt that don't got no kids. Her kids are her nieces and nephews.
I'm that bougie aunt. On my side.
Which is me, my sister, and my cousin Nicholas. So technically we are her children because she don't have no children.
Mm.
She's the one who travels everywhere. She's got her master's. She works for the federal government, Department of Labor, or something like that. She's been there for hella years. But I've always inspired to be like her. So I've always, ever since I had my mind set on that, even though I hated school, but I low key have always had a goal to, I'm going to be like my aunt. Like, I'm going to get my education. I'm going to either match her or I'm going to pass her. And at this point, I did that. So I've successfully completed my goal at this point. But then it went from me wanting to beat her to then, unfortunately, in 2016, my dad died of an overdose. But the jacked up thing about it is I didn't know my dad used drugs. You wanna know how I found out? Still to this day, does it irritate my soul? Absolutely. One of my family members decided to say, oh, you know, your dad was a heroin user. He was a what? Oh, yeah, every time your dad used to come up and visit you, he used to come across the street or come down the street and be shooting up heroin. So don't be surprised. She was like, your dad didn't die of no brain aneurysm. That was probably more than likely drug induced.
No. Don't you dislike when people do that? I used to dislike when people did that by my birth mother.
So you decide to tell me this shit after my dad died?
Wait. They told you. They
They
told you
told
that.
me they told me this shit after my dad died.
And this was a family member.
This is a family member.
Wow. So where y'all at now? Like as far as like, did you let them know like, hey, that's not cool, or did you just like you not talking to them?
Listen, that shit's in the past. Like my mom was even like, why would you even do that at this point?
That's why.
So for the long, like, it was to the point I needed my dad's death certificate for school. I called the funeral home to try to get his death certificate. It got so bad, the funeral home was like, per your grandmother, can't nobody release your dad's death certificate. I said, what?
How is that? Because the law says that if
That part,
are not married, if your parents are not married, the next legal obligation goes to the children. By law, the kids are supposed to handle any arrangements or anything. Now, being
correct.
that it probably wasn't being said or anything, she probably stepped in to be that. So
But ultimately, I ended up getting a copy of the death certificate, and the death certificate on the death certificate, it said aneurysm by drug induced.
how did that make you feel?
At this point, I think for me, it was just one of them situations like you're you was already incarcerated the first 8 years of my life, so I didn't know you.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, every single time I was around you, you was under the influence. So I had, because me and my dad wasn't on good terms when he passed away. So it's like I had one stable parent in my life who's always been that stable parent, and the stable father figure in my life was my grandpa. He was never that stability. So when it comes to substance use, it's zero tolerance for me. And it always has been. And so that's just, I guess, that's why I deal with the mental health that I deal with. And it's because um, of father issues. And so when I see a lot of my um, clients deal with not only abandonment issues and sexual based trauma issues, I just try to do my best in getting them the help and services that they need, because that's something that they're going to carry for the rest of their life. And if they don't get help, it continues to eat and eat away at you.
So
And and I said, you have your good days, you have your bad days. I have my days where I wake up angry. I have my days where I wake up mad, happy. And I have my days where I just don't want to be around anybody.
and that's understandable. Like I was typing a question down of like, do you feel like because of the things you've gone through, it has made you want to step into that social worker role and help people that
Oh,
might be you are just in general?
100%.
That's
Like I said, I think what I've been through, and what I continue to go through, it's made me who I am, and it's made me a stronger person.
Mhm.
And it's given me that fight to continue to go on, um, and prosper through day by day. Um, and I think that's what gives me such that hunger, that I have to be a social worker, um, and dig deep and just continue to fight for justice and change like I do.
That's good. Because I know you transitioned at one point from being a working in probation and parole in social work, right? To working fully in social work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was that's like two different types of, like, it seems like, and we talked about this before, how one can be more intense, even though they're both intense, but one is in a more restrained area compared to the other one. Is more, they coming in, you might see them, you might not see them, or stuff like that. Would you say you prefer the more, and I think you told me this, you prefer where you're at now compared to where you were before in probation, because it was a lot that was going on there.
Yeah. I 100% love what I do now. Um, my juvenile probation job eventually not it made me towards the end start to get that feeling of starting to despise the teen population, unfortunately. And I hated that. Um, and I think a lot of it had to do with a lot of the management, a lot of what was going on with employees, just a lot of pettiness honestly going on. But just in that time frame I was losing a lot of kids. Um and
Tell me about that.
and it was just God's calling. It was closing of one chapter and the start of another. So
You out here doing God's work. Anybody that's in social work, mental health, or anything. Yeah. And I say it, and I'm low key in the mental health field without being in the mental health field. So I'm like, I don't know about that. Nah. But we transition into some thank you for sharing everything that you shared. Um I want to get into some questions before we like wrap up. That talk about the holidays coming up, because you and I spoke about how the holidays are very big for people and mental health struggles and all of that.
hmm
So with the holiday season, it is often romanticized that it's a huge trigger for many. What common emotional challenges do you see clients facing during this time of year?
I see a lot of clients face, well, again, food insecurities, not having enough food, um, which that one's in general is going to be a big one this year. Um, you know, not getting to see family, not getting to be with family, um, what, uh, just trying to overall, how are they going to get gifts for their kids? Um, Another big one is for the kids that got incarcerated parents.
Yeah.
This is a big time we see kids start to act out, wanting parents home. Um, This is a lot. This is a big emotional time for um people that have lost loved ones. Start reminiscing on the
Yeah.
time spent during the holidays. So we normally see an influx in that.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, that's probably those are going to be your main ones.
So, how can individuals with mental health struggles effectively manage the pressure of family expectations and intense social schedules during the holidays?
Honestly, just trying to find different ways to keep themselves busy. Um, just the different coping skills um that they have. Uh, I can't even say not so much like yeah, taking if you have kids going around to like different holiday parks, seeing looking at the lights, just trying to find various ways to like keep your minds off things. Um Decorate different ornaments, like just do little basic stuff at home, like make little snowflakes and just try to make your build your own different types of traditions with your family and your kids and your littles and different things like that. Um, and just find various ways to try to take your mind off of it. It's just all in all, it's a hard time for everyone. Like I said, heck, we buried my dad uh 2 days before Christmas.
Mm.
Yeah. So
I'm learning so much about you on this podcast. I ain't hearing none of that stuff.
yep.
We kind of
Good
got
old, I'd never forget being in the great old windy city of great Chicago during Christmas time.
yeah.
Because as soon as I got back, they shut down the highway because there was an active shooter
Oh,
on the.
really?
Yes. Yeah. I remember, trust me, I remember that damn trip like it was yesterday.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Mm.
Because the crazy thing about it is, my mom, my sister, and my Aunt Angie was out of town at another family's funeral in Freeport, Illinois, when I got the news that my dad had passed away. Yep, I had just gotten off of work at Riverbend Treatment Center, DYS, and my sister Cecily had called and told me the news that our dad had passed away.
Wow.
And my Aunt Jenny, my grandma's sister, literally had me on lockdown in that hot ass house and would not let me go nowhere until my mother came back.
Wait, was the house hot because she didn't want to turn on the air, or was it like summertime?
No, it was during the winter. The house was hot because it was heat.
I would have been able to do that. I can't stand sleeping in not in the heat.
You know how them old people used to be house hot? Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about it. All of my family lived a block radius from each other.
Oh, you talking about where you live at now? You talking about St. Joe?
No, yeah. All of my family used to live a block radius of each other.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
country. It do make sense.
yeah. You couldn't breathe wrong without the family member finding out.
Well, man, that's how small they were. I grew up in a small town. I'm from Wentzville, so I ain't saying it's like St. Joe vibes though, but we were more so like more like I don't know. I don't know. I guess my accent kind of fell off, because you got a thick accent.
I do not have no accent. Whatever.
You do sound real country, Missouri country,
What?
Missouri, Missouri. Say Missouri.
It's Missouri.
Sound about country. I'm just kidding with you. Okay, Brett. A few more questions for you. How do you encourage a client to shift from a focus on the trauma to a focus on the healing and potential for growth?
I think that can be challenging because so many nowadays, it's like clients are so stuck on that trauma, it's so hard to get them to shift to the healing process. Um, and I feel like so many people are like so quick to give up anymore and don't really want to try, which is like on the rougher end of things. Um, I just try to give as many resources and provide as much guidance as I possibly can with all of my clients. But ultimately, it's up to them if they want to accept it or not. You can't force feed anybody.
You sure can.
Um, so if they're ready to heal, they're going to accept what you have given them, knowledge wise and resource wise, and take the step forward to begin that process. But if not, they're just going to continue down the path and the journey that they're on.
True that. You sure right. Because I ain't start healing until people stop telling me. Don't tell me what to do. Because I'm going to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm going to do it because don't tell me what to do.
That's that operational defiancy disorder.
No, that's just called destiny do what she want disorder. That's what that is.
Okay.
That's what that is. Don't make me feel like I'm healing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just the type of person where it's like, don't tell me. Like, tell me one time, but don't keep telling me because then I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm not about to overthink every time I do it. Like, I don't like that because I'll just be like, I'm just, I get where I'm just like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
want
we
to
know.
be like that. Like, oh my gosh,
You're
did I?
you're an overthinker.
Yeah, I overthink the overthoughts of the thoughts that I overthought already. Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna flow back into this question right here because I got about two of them. And this is one of them. It says, if you could mandate one change in the way society views mental illness, what would that be?
I would say that I hate that people say that mental health is not a disease. Or people use the term, this is another one that irritates my soul. When people want to say mental uh mental health is something that people like to coddle.
You heard that? Hmm.
A lot of people say that like now with this generation, a lot of people say that we overuse mental health. And what they mean by that is that everything is geared towards mental health and not behavioral. They always want to stick everything as a mental health diagnosis, and that bottom line that some kids just aren't bad. They just don't chunk it up as they're bad. They always want to say, "Oh no, there's a mental health diagnosis behind that," which some situations, okay, yes, I do get, but at the end of the day, you do have to look at some situations in a way as not what is wrong with you, but what happened to you.
Oh, that's good. It's good.
And that's the deeper picture that I need people to realize.
Okay. All right. Brittany fixed my life.
Hmm.
Okay. Wow. Beautifully shared. So finally, final question. What does being a ideal social worker mean to you, given your commitment to helping people achieve?
Man, I don't even know what an ideal social worker is, because I every given day, I guess I just make it do what it do. Honestly, I I do what I can for each and every person. I treat everybody equally. I don't treat nobody different.
It's a little debatable. It depends on how they make you feel. I done seen
Um,
that.
I everybody gets treated with respect. Um and in what I do, there's so much things that can go right or wrong. And there's never a dull moment. There's always different scenarios, and you have to be ready. You all the way that I always got to stay ready. Literally always got to stay ready, cuz I never know what I'm about to get drug into. But
Mm,
again, that's what I was taught. That's and if I wasn't taught that, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. And so, like I said, every social worker is different. Everybody moves different. And the way that I just move to the beat of my own drum. And most of the time, you don't ever see me with a frown on my face. I'm always laughing. I'm always smiling. Um, like I said, I thoroughly enjoy what I do.
yeah. I beat to my own drum too. I think it just like play them bongos. And then again, I do make my own tunes. You never know with me. You just never know. But beautifully said. I learned so much about you tonight. Like, had to be public for me to get to know you more.
Stuff it.
I'm I am hurt. I'm hurt by this. Brittany, look, Brittany and I are newfound friends. That's like my sister, y'all. So we be vibing. We
She
do.
stresses me out.
I take that as a very endearing compliment. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
As soon as we get off here, I'm gonna call you so I can get on. I can stress you out a little bit more.
my phone's going on D&D.
Well, I hope you got it on. If you call 3 times or 2 times, that mug push right through. I'll push it right through. Push it right through. Cause I'm calling or I'm texting. Yeah. But is there anything that we did not chat about that you would like to chat about, or a question, or would you like to ask me a question?
I currently do not have any questions at this moment of time unless you have any announcements that need to be said.
I don't have any necessarily announcements. Oh, aside from the fact that Brittany will be officially having a segment on Persperity Podcast starting next month in December. She will
She
be.
lying. She talking about January 2026.
Wait a second. I thought we thought so. We doing January? I thought it was December. But teach us on, y'all. It's gonna be a mental health social work session where Brittany's gonna be coming in and it's gonna be a takeover Persperity Podcast. So you won't see me, you'll see her, and she'll be coming on 30 minutes hour, whatever, and she'll be bringing her own guest on or whatever that may be. And it's gonna be fun because integrating something new for Persperity Podcast. And we might say like we gonna come up with a little name for it as well, but Brittany, you're gonna be seeing her. So yeah, y'all. And rolling into this outro. And just like that, our time wraps up for another enlightening episode.
That's what that reminded me of as soon as you said that.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. And I'm gonna do this again. And just like that, our time wraps up for another enlightening episode of Persperity Podcast. My sincere thanks to Brittany Boggess
Thank you for getting my last name
for
correct.
sharing her deeply viable insights on healing conversations, a social worker's perspective. Her wisdom in navigating complex emotional landscapes is exactly the perspective we need to foster genuine connection and growth. If this conversation provided you with a moment of clarity or a new tool for your own life, please help by spreading the word, by heading over to YouTube and search for Persperity, Persperity. Guys, I've been working on that because I've been misspelling it. Podcast, and hit that like button on the video and make sure you subscribe and ding that bell, and that way you'll never miss an episode. Sharing this conversation is meaningful action in itself. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next Monday. Until next time, remember, mindful moments equal prosperous lives. Let's boogie, St. Joe. Spooky. Oh wow, wait a second. I didn't even see this up in here. Look at these. Wait. Look at these conversations. I didn't even see Stacy in here. Hey, Stacy.
You said yours. So funny.
Look, it's supposed to be a mental health podcast. We over here just cracking up laughing. All right, y'all. So yeah. So let's that some let's dance.
Oh
All
my-
right, y'all. Dance, Brittany.
In the shadows,
Stop.
through the struggles we will take flight. Healing hearts and mending minds. Together we'll leave the past behind. Welcome to Persperity Podcast, where hope is found.
Brittany,
Voices
go.
rising up, breaking new ground.
No.
With every story shared,
No,
we
All right,
because
so I'm seeing y'all next week. You don't want to show us what things you'll be booking me with.
Mm-mm.
Bye.